Now at 5 a.m. on WKYT this morning, strong winds and heavy rains caused some issues across much of the South. We'll look at how the conditions are in Lexington this morning after overnight rain.
The case against a Boyle County pastor accused of murder is moving closer to trial. Now new developments call for a testimony from one of his fellow pastors.
And after starting red hot, the Wildcats gave up a big lead and suffered a third loss in SEC play. We'll have a recap of last night's tough loss at Tennessee.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Rebecca Smith.
And I'm Bill Bryant, and we welcome you in on this Wednesday. It's hump day, and had a rainy night, and that was about it, and that's good.
You know, and that was good, and it was really just one of those that makes you want to sleep all night long, all day long. Good. But unfortunately, some of us have to get up and go to work. Micah, hopefully we won't have too much rain to deal with all day.
Yeah, it's really fading away as we speak, so there's some good news for a lot of us trying to get up this morning. Eastern zones, yeah, it's going to be tough because you'll hear the rain on the rooftops. Still rolling through the east, guys. We still have about, I would say about 5 more hours in the far east to actually get rid of the rain. Here in Lexington, you got another hour. Frankfort, another 30 minutes. The back edge of that rain really tapering off back toward the west and the central zones. Heaviest rain right now is rolling across that 421 corridor through Clay County, and then work your way up toward Jackson and Buckhorn. That's where you're seeing some of the heaviest rain at the moment. Moving east, temperatures upper 50s to around 60 degrees, but we're actually going to finish off. We've already hit our high. So we're going to finish off right around 50 degrees. That morning rain, afternoon looks pretty good. Now I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you when the coldest air filter's on in, because it will overnight. Show you how low we go coming up.
Okay, we'll see you then. The rain and the stiff winds that moved through still did cause some problems in the area.
Yeah, trees were knocked down across the roads. You may have to also deal with some ponding water if you're headed out this morning. WKYT's Mark Barber is live in Lexington, keeping us alert on road conditions.
Good morning, Rebecca. Crews have been picking up the damage from the storm this morning. Just about an hour ago, they cleared a tree that strong winds pushed over onto the outbound lanes of Tates Creek here at Montclair. So while down trees are not going to slow down your morning drive at all this morning, the wet roads just might. Hours of heavy rain through the night. They've created some spots of standing water on many stretches of road. Driving into work this morning, several of our producers reported seeing ponding water on New Circle Road between Liberty Road and Palumbo Drive. We're also told that ponding water was an issue in some of the right lanes on Nicholasville Road. Now, minor flooding also presented some concerns for dispatchers through the night. They say that they actually washed some rocks onto a stretch of Leestown Road near Dolan. And again, that was due to minor flooding, but just like crews were able to clear that tree off of Tates Creek, those rocks have been picked up. So you're not going to really see any obstacles in the road on your drive this morning. When I was speaking with dispatchers about 15 minutes ago, they said they are very shocked that the storm has not caused any crashes this morning. They're hoping that remains the case through the morning rush. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Thank you, Mark. Tree trimming companies in the Bluegrass were busy taking calls from people concerned about trees outside their homes last night. Excuse me. Workers at Dave Leonard, tree specialist in Versailles, say regularly pruned trees have the best chance of surviving storms, but other trees may not be as lucky.
Basically, previously damaged trees that have been struck by lightning a year or 2 or 3 ago, could certainly be an issue, and that's a big thing.
Well, tree trimmers say trees that have been topped or ones that have any kind of fungus around the bottom also more vulnerable to damage.
It's been a stormy and dangerous 24 hours across East Mississippi and West Alabama. Multiple tornadoes touching down in those areas. Near Sequelina, for about a quarter of a mile, trees were uprooted, homes and buildings were ripped apart, and power lines were strewn across the street. Despite the damage, emergency officials there say no one was seriously injured. People in the area who say the storm was terrifying at times say they also found ways to protect their families during the brunt of the storm. As a reminder, you can track any severe weather along the latest traffic with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. You can download it for free in the app or Google Play stores.
Well, a case against a Southern Kentucky pastor charged in a triple murder is moving closer to trial.
A Boyle County judge made a key ruling that will allow testimony from one of Kenneth Keith's fellow pastors in his trial. WKYT's Michelle Chamberlain joins us from our live desk with the latest developments in the case. Michelle?
The Pulaski County preacher's lawyers tried to argue that 4 phone conversations between Kenneth Keith and the Michigan preacher after the 2013 murders were confidential. The Advocate Messenger reports a judge denied the request to suppress the preacher's testimony on the grounds that the conversations between the two were confidential because Keith was talking to Tracy Harold as his pastor. 3 of the 4 conversations Harold had with Keith were recorded and served as the basis for an arrest warrant. Boyle Circuit Judge Darren Peckler said in court, quote, "The defendant did not make a confession." He went on to say Mr. Harold testified the communication appeared to be an attempt by the defendant to establish an alibi. Harold testified that he called Keith following hearing about the murders and robbery of Michael Hawkinsmith, Angela Hawkinsmith, and Daniel Smith. Harold said he called to encourage Keith. Part of their conversation included Keith yelling, "They ain't innocent. They cost me lots of money." Keith then said the Hawkinsmiths, quote, "stole my business." That's when Harold went to police. Harold and Keith's next 3 conversations were then recorded, eventually leading to Keith's arrest. Now Keith faces the death penalty if convicted. A trial date has not been scheduled. At the live desk, Michelle Chamberlain, WKYT.
Michelle, thank you. This morning, Lexington police are looking for a man who they say robbed a hotel at gunpoint. That happened just after 8 last night at Bluegrass Extended Stay on Richmond Road. Police say a man walked in and pulled out a gun and demanded money from the clerk who was working at the time. After getting some money from the register, police say he then ran off and no one was injured.
He'd been missing for more than a month, but this morning a lost dog in Franklin County has been found alive. Harvey was originally among the hundreds of dogs rescued from the Homeward Bound Animal Rescue in Laurel County. This after police found the shelter to be in just terrible condition. Oh, this little guy, I remember him. In December, Harvey was rescued by Lifehouse for Animals in Frankfort, but only hours after arriving, volunteers say Harvey slipped off the leash and took off. Despite the winter storm and weeks without care, volunteers say the missing pup was found yesterday. That is great news. Minus a broken leg, they say remarkably, Harvey is in good condition.
Hey, looks happy to be back. All right. Well, several bills are currently moving through the legislature that, if passed, would give more protection to Kentucky's animals. One of the proposed bills calls for stiffer punishment for anyone who owns, breeds, trains, or sells dogs for the purpose of fighting. Another bill would allow veterinarians to release animal welfare information, something that is currently illegal in Kentucky. Animal rescue volunteer Leslie Coffey says cruelty is a growing issue across the Commonwealth, and because of the way many laws are currently drafted, Coffey says it can be hard for rescuers to actually help when animals are in danger.
There are dogs that are being abused, and they call and they ask me, you know, can you come help this animal? Can you do something to help them? And if there's not laws or bills there that give us the opportunity to go do that legally, then our hands are tied.
Animal support groups will gather in Frankfort this morning for Humane Lobby Day and show their support for these drafted bills. If you want to voice your support for those bills, you can find the number to call on our website, WKYT.com.
It is back to the drawing board for Coach Cal and the UK basketball team.
It was a tough one last night. You know, UK jumped out to a big lead against Tennessee early in the game, but as the game progressed, the game started slipping away for the Cats. In the final minutes of the first half, Tennessee worked their way back from a 21-point deficit to cut the lead to single digits heading into the locker room at the half. Then that momentum carried over into the second half. The score would remain close, but in the end, the Vols proved to be too much as the final score read 84-77. Coming up in sports, Brian Milam will have much more on last night's tough loss for the Cats. WKYT This Morning just getting started. Coming up on 5:09 on your Wednesday.
NFL fans have many ways of showing support for their favorite team, but when their team makes the Super Bowl, that support intensifies. See how when WKYT This Morning returns.
Trying to push that rain on out of here. Once that rain moves on out, which is in the next couple of hours, what's going on back behind that? Any cold air? Well, I'll have your update coming up next.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
We still have some heavy downpours over toward the eastern zones. Here's the good news, though. Look at the back edge of this, right through Danville, right through places like Harrisburg, Salvisa, make your way down toward the Cumberland region. That's the good news, because the rain is pushing on out. It's going to take a few more hours, but it's getting there. Let's talk about where the heaviest rain is at this very moment. roll through Manchester, now about to approach Hyden and Hazard. Buckhorn really getting the brunt of it at this moment, and also Breathitt County, Jackson seeing the brunt of it, and it's now moved past you guys, Jackson. So Jackson, you guys are over with the heaviest rain. But still some lingering showers will be left over the next couple of hours. Paintsville, you're next in line if you work your way back towards Salyersville and also off toward Pikeville. Salyersville now seeing that heaviest rain. 460 is going to be swamped this morning. So will Mountain Parkway. So will all the roadways over in eastern Kentucky, because now you're seeing that rain. And you had some rain overnight too, but now you're seeing the heaviest part of it. So it's just going to add to that ponding there on the roads. We get through the afternoon. We've already hit our high. Afternoon temperature right around 50 to about 55 degrees depending on where you are. And we'll have a mixture of sun and clouds. So the afternoon looks pretty good. It's not that bad. Off into the evening, we really drop those temperatures, because in the evening and night, that's when the coldest air filters on in. Look, tomorrow morning, we're at 26 degrees. So some really cold air will filter on in, but it's not extreme cold, right? Where we'll be in the 20s, some 30s toward the afternoon. So cooler air does just kind of pass through the region. But let me tell you this, it doesn't last long, because then as we head off towards your weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're talking about pretty nice conditions. 40s in store, and also pretty dry too. So here's your outlook there for the weekend planner. 45 Saturday, 45 on Sunday. Both of these days pretty much carbon copies of each other. So we'll have a mixture in clouds, sun and clouds on both of those days. But that's a weekend you'll want to enjoy, because then as we approach next week is our best chance to see our next system fly on through. Let's talk about your 7-day and break it down for you. 50 today, 30s for tomorrow. Couple of chances at a flurry or two, not a big issue. We head toward Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Looks pretty good. Any plans going on? Looks great. Any 5Ks happening? You are good to go. And then we get into our next week. Monday, here comes a system coming in from the north. So that means what? Light snowmaker, right? And from the south, those are your big snowmakers like we had last time. We're not going to have that. This is a light snowmaker. Could cause some issues there on Monday. It's definitely something to watch out for in the next several days. But that is our next best chance at seeing really anything fall out of the sky that could add up to something that could cause issues. Monday and Tuesday, so we have a while going throughout the weekend. It's looking pretty good there with temperatures in the 40s. That's above average, so we'll take that.
Yeah, nice little break from events.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I love that.
Been a lot of action.
Yeah, 5:15 our time this morning. Football fans have all kinds of unique ways of showing support for their teams.
In honor of football's biggest weekend, CNN's Jamie Leary stopped at a Colorado goat farm to meet one of those unique fans.
Rebecca Herberg is having kids this spring. 150 of them.
Come on, babies.
Goats, of course. The only kind of kids the Herbergs have time for these days.
And when they're born, typically they weigh 8-9 pounds, and they're cold. You know, it's April.
With 14 and what Jim Herberg calls a half dog, her Broncos goat coats and ranch duties take up every second of the day.
First go-around uses them for a couple of weeks. We wash them. We put them on the next go-around. You know, and as long as everybody gets a sweater.
Girls get orange, and the boys, of course, get blue.
And it looked like a bunch of little Broncos fans running around down there.
And while Rebecca wasn't always a football fan, the Broncos, well, have won her over.
They're really a team you can be proud of, and I love them. So it's not so much I'm a football fan as that I'm a Broncos fan, and how can you not be?
And, of course, the Herbergs will be cheering for the Broncos as a family on Sunday, all 14 of those goats included.
Yeah, all 14 of their kids, right?
You got it. Hey, it's good to have you along on WKYT this morning, like that one. We have more news on the way in just a moment.
Have a look at your money.
United is bringing back one passenger perk that will make it easier for parents to travel. Plus, an idea one Boston student came up with to make some extra cash. I'm Hannah Daniels in New York. I'll have those stories and much more coming up in your CBS Money Watch report.
Welcome back in. We're rolling toward 5:20 on WKYT this morning. United is making it easier for parents to travel.
Plus, a Boston student is finding himself in trouble after coming up with a new way to make some extra cash. Hannah Daniels has the latest on your money.
Yahoo released its fourth quarter earnings today. The tech giant says it will lay off about 15% of the workforce. That's about 1,700 employees as part of a restructuring plan. Yahoo shares have fallen about 35% in the last year. Falling oil prices and continuing concerns over the global economy dragged the markets down on Tuesday. The Dow dropped 295 points. The Nasdaq fell 103. After 4 years, United Airlines will once again allow families with young children to board early. The airline decided to reverse its policy to make traveling less stressful for parents. The change will go into effect February 15th, letting families with children under the age of 2 to board the plane before other passengers. An Emerson student in Boston came up with a pretty creative way to make some extra cash by renting out his dorm room on Airbnb. 19-year-old sophomore Jack Worth hosted 3 guests before the school forced him to take the posting down. Worth was fined $150 by Airbnb and is now facing disciplinary action by Emerson. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. In New York, I'm Hannah Daniels.
And our time this morning is 5:21 here on your Wednesday. Good to have you with us. That rain beginning to fade out after we've had quite a bit overnight.
Yeah, we hope you stay dry today. Sports is up next.
Coming up, it's the Cats and the Vols from Rocky Top, and Kentucky races to a huge lead, only to see the Big Orange come back in a huge way. The highlights are on the way next.
Still have the rain over in the eastern Kentucky, and it's slowly but surely moving on. Now there's some heavy downpours back toward the eastern portion of our viewing area. Now getting into the end of the Mountain Parkway and also Hazard, you're next in line. Just about 15 to 20 minutes. That slides east. The back edge of this, which is good news, is about to fade here in Lexington. Lexington, I give it another hour. We'll be done with the rain, so we're going to be watching this, trying to move it on out. No major issues, no severe watches, nor warnings at this time. We're not really worried about any of those warnings either out of this system. Let's check out sports, see what's going on.
We have seen it before. Kentucky gets a comfortable lead and then has to scratch and claw their way back just to try and get a win. And that's what happened last night against the Tennessee Volunteers. The lob to Alex Poitras, that makes it 14-6, and UK really starts to get things going. Poitras stripped of the ball, but the Cats control it. Derek Willis, he will slam it down. The lead is doubled at 8. It's now 22-11. Willis's 3 makes it 25-11 Kentucky, and all is well. UK enjoys its biggest advantage when Isaiah Briscoe beats the shot clock on the reverse layup. 34-13 Kentucky. The Vols make a run and close the gap to 6. Tyler Eulis with a nice take. 42-36 Kentucky at the half. The Vols rally continues big time in the second. Armani Moore takes it away from Poitras. The feed to Devin Balkman, who slams it down. 42-38. Vols cut it to 3. Kevin Punter shoots over Derek Willis. Jamal Murray dribbling display out front. Pass to Briscoe, 48-43 Kentucky. Here come the Vols again, down 1. Detrick Mustella by himself on the wing. Tennessee has the lead for the first time, 56-54. Timeout Kentucky, and that guy in the funny suit is pumped. But the Cats counter again. Tyler Eulis, he had 20. That 3 makes it 57-56 Kentucky. Willis a 3, and at this point you think, okay, things are back under control. It's 60-56. Down 3, the Vols' Armani Moore. He's Armani. He's best dressed guy in Tennessee. Shoots the 3. We're tied at 63. Next time down, Tennessee gets the lead. Robert Hubbs with the turnaround. Are you kidding me? More from Rocky Top. Shambari Phillips right down the lane. Vols by 5. Jamal Murray would break the drought by rattling in a triple out of the corner. 68-66. Murray with 21, but Punter just out kicking the coverage. Vols are on fire. 76-70, and that's it. Kentucky made one last push, but it wasn't enough. Vols upset Kentucky 84-77. That is a look at sports. Try to enjoy your day.